Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Homegrown Sounds. I am Marcus Ray. This show is designed to showcase talents from around New Mexico and surrounding areas. Today, I am honored to bring to the stage Dick Stewart, a legend here in New Mexico, and his son, Rich Stewart. Folks, without further ado, Dick and Rich Stewart.
right.
Here's an original.
This is dedicated to Santa Fe. It's called Surfing Santa Fe. No, Surfing the Southwest, Santa Fe's town, that's what it is. And we wrote that especially for Santa Fe, but nobody knows, except you. Hey, let's see here. Oh.
Dick Stewart, Richie Stewart, The Knights. Wow, impressive. have some questions before you
Did you
gentlemen.
Did you say depressing?
I
thought I heard
didn't. No, I didn't say depressing. Did I?
Oh.
Hope I didn't say depressing. Before we move, before you gentlemen entertain us with some more music, though, I might have said some more pressing.
Okay.
Yes, I have some questions I like to put to you. First, folks at home are gonna want to know the date of that jacket because we don't see jackets like that these days. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
That was my special jacket back in, with the Knights back in 1961 when we formed the band, the Albuquerque band. Later known as King Richard and the Knights, I was King Richard. And we started in 1961 and we quickly picked up the instrumental style of rock and roll at that time because the Ventures and the Fireballs from Raton, New Mexico, were putting all the vocalists in the back seat. So rock and roll as an instrumental genre ruled during that time, early 60s.
Early 60s. And I understand you were born and raised in New Mexico, as you just alluded to. Okay.
I was born in the North Valley of Albuquerque, and I grew up there. Went to Valley High School, graduated in '58. Graduated from the University of New Mexico. Loved progressive jazz when I was a kid. Loved classical music. Don't love doing that. And I loved doing, I was very much into melodious type of tunes and so forth. What have you. And when rock and roll came on the scene in '54, somewhere in there, that was when I was around 14 years old. Then I went crazy over Chuck Berry, he's number one. Fats Domino, he was number two, and then Elvis Presley got in there, the first white rock and roller that made a big point, and starting in West Texas with Buddy Holly, that sort of thing. So we, when the Venture instrumental scene came on in 1960, that's sort of how we came about.
Oh, that's a lot of history there. That's impressive. I like that. So you're saying Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Elvis Presley, those are folks who were inspired to play the guitar?
Did I say Little Richard, or did I say?
I might have inserted that.
Okay, the Fat Man.
The Fat Dominoes.
Domino.
There we
Fats
go.
Dominoes.
Domino. He was a big artist at that time. He had some great vocal songs. And I was really much into the vocal rock and roll, of course. I got into the instrumental stuff later when Fender guitars, like what I'm holding in my hand, this is a Jazz Master. That's, if you're wondering how I get these tones, this style of guitar that does it. And this little, what they call whammy bar here, that's what makes it, this little whammy bar right here, that's what makes it, it could be either this sound, or it could be, make a nice little tone in there, and that's what eventually blew everybody's mind, at that time, that's the kind of stuff they did, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. And I got to ask you a question about the 11 unsung heroes of early rock and roll.
What's that?
Book.
Oh, the book I wrote.
The book you wrote.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Yes. I really have to insert that because I read the book and it's an entertaining, informative piece of history about New Mexico and the inception of rock and roll here in New Mexico, which a lot of people know very little about.
Mm-hmm. The biggest instrumental band, and again, they were a group that were mentors of ours. We learned a lot of their songs. Was a gentleman by the name of George Tomsko and the Fireballs. George Tomsko was their lead guitarist. They started out as a vocal band, and then they would release a vocal and an instrumental on a 45 back-to-back. No, rather, the B-side would be the instrumental, and the vocal would be the A-side. Well, the A-sides bombed, and the B-sides hit big, And
So
one of the songs we're going to play today is a song called Bulldog, and that was their biggest hit. That's, I think it got number 30 on Billboard back in the early 60s. And in 1963, they hooked up with Jimmy Gilmore and the Fireballs and put out a song called Sugar Shack, which was the #1 song for Billboard of all the songs that were released in 1963. You know, and George was very happy. He told me, because I interviewed him. He is in this book, and he's very happy about it, except for one thing. When the disc jockeys mentioned the name of the group, they never said the Fireballs. It was a new release by Jimmy Gilmore, and that was it. And he never was happy about that. You know. And that came from Norman Petty Studios out of Clovis, New Mexico. That's where he recorded it, and it was and Norman Petty decided to insert Jimmy Gilmore's name instead of it being a band for all. The Fireballs. It was Jimmy Gilmore and the Fireballs. You know, so that's the way it is in the old rock and roll business stuff. Yeah. So yeah, getting back to the book, Jimmy. That's his story. He has one of the chapters. I got a gentleman by the name of Sonny Curtis. He's not a household name, but gosh, he wrote I Fought the Law, and the Law Won. Everybody heard that one.
Yes.
He's a member of the Crickets, Buddy Holly's Crickets. He's a guitar player, present guitar player. He wrote the song, song for the Mary Tyler Show, and performs it, sings it. And if you hear any of the reruns, you know, you'll hear him singing her song. He told me that the producer called him. They were friends. He says, "I'm going to do the show for Mary Tyler Moore. Come down here and get these words and write me a good, song for this show, TV show." And he wrote it in an hour. Went down there. He says, "I love it, and I want you to sing it and play it." And he did, and really did well on that. So that right there is the household name status. What these guys did in this book is household things. Were household things, you know. Wrote a big hit song or sang one. We've got Jack. What's his name?
Well, why do you think of that, though,
Anyway,
Richard? Can you play us a few more songs?
The original song. Okay. The original.
Jack Ely.
Jack Ely. That's right. I couldn't even remember. Jack Ely, because I got a problem. Anyway, Jack Ely. There was the original singer of Louie Louie, the most copied rock and roll song in the world. And I'll just leave it at that. But he was the guy that made it a hit.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to come back and ask you a question about where we can hear you play in the future. But right now, could you entertain us with some more of this fantastic instrumental music?
Sure.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
I'll
you.
peel on out of here.
This is by. Doesn't matter anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4.
play music like that anymore. Thank you, Rich and Dick.
Thank you.
Folks, our special thanks. Dick Stewart, Rich Stewart, the Knights. If you would like to appear on Homegrown Sounds, submit an audition reel or come on down to the SFC TV studios. My special thanks goes out to SFC TV. Also, my homegrown crew, Brandon Hampton, Molly, Annie, James, and everyone who supports us in our endeavor. Thanks for tuning in to Homegrown Sounds. And could you take us on a little riff here? I just really, a little something, a little racy. Yeah.
Yeah, just walk or run thing.
I never did a chair dance, but.
This is our version. 1, 2, 3, 4.